Thank you for joining us for a special digital edition of ABC24. I'm Kevin McNamara. Tensions in the Bluff City are still high after a scathing report from the U.S. Department of Justice this week found that the Memphis Police Department uses excessive force and discriminates against black people. The report comes after the Department of Justice launched an investigation into the department after the beating death of Tyree Nichols after a traffic stop last year. It goes further to say that officers with MPD resort to force almost immediately in response to low-level nonviolent offenses, even when people are not aggressive. According to the report, black people in Memphis are far more likely to be treated harshly by police.
Wide, over 70 pages. We have evidence, we have all of the information we could ever possibly need to begin to build a police department that we deserve.
The DOJ will conduct an outreach meeting with Memphians to talk about the report's findings. They'll start with a public Zoom on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Also this week, a Bluff City investor and entrepreneur wants to step in and take over the suddenly shuttered Houston's restaurant. I talked with him about his plan and with Memphians still dealing with the news their favorite restaurant may be no more. Investor Daryl Horn and his group want to take over Houston's as quickly as possible and keep employees paid through the holidays.
I'm one of the owners in Tops Barbecue. Tiger Bryan at Soulfish is another one of my partners there. But we're constantly looking for opportunities to invest in Memphis, keep great things going in Memphis. And this is like the perfect opportunity to kind of fit that model for what we're trying to do.
The restaurant has taken flack across social media for citing public safety in their statement announcing the closure.
You know, they came out with their press release about public safety and all that, the reason they're leaving. And I really don't think that's the case. I'm not really that concerned about public safety. I think we're on the right track in Memphis.
That lack of concern is shared by Memphians out near the restaurant on Friday.
I found that strange. Yeah, I shop here at Whole Foods all the time and across the street at Kroger. I get my nails done on Sanderlin, go to SOB on Sanderlin. So, yeah, I was kind of surprised about that.
My wife and I come here every so often. Quick little random getaway, nice dinner. Didn't ever think it was unsafe. So disappointed.
Houston regulars are hopeful something will come of the longtime East Memphis staple, regardless.
I'd love to see something go in the space. I mean, you got Folks Folly right here. They haven't had a problem.
I used to work for First Horizon Bank, and I know a lot of the employees there depended on Houston's, and I think something needs to go in there.
In Tipton County, it's been nearly 2 months since the tragic death of Ellie Young, a 22-year-old Tennessee medical student shot and killed during a cancer walk at Shelby Farms. Today, family and friends held a walk up in Tipton County honoring her life that was cut short. Our Desmond Nugent explains why they want to continue pushing for justice and addressing domestic violence.
Here at the historic Covington Square, friends and family of Ellie Young walked approximately a mile to keep her memory alive and, most importantly, to advocate for women experiencing domestic violence. Approximately 100 people gathered to support Ellie Young in Covington. Ellie's friends and family described her as the life of the party and still can't believe it has been nearly 2 months since her death. Ellie was shot and killed during a cancer walk in October. Her ex-boyfriend, Jackson Hopper, was charged with first-degree murder in Shelby County, along with a series of additional charges in Tipton County. Ellie's mentor, Dr. Lucia Folletti, emphasizes the need to educate people about domestic violence at a younger age in hopes of preventing similar tragedies in the future.
People understand that we need to educate our little children, our boys, our girls, on the way that they will learn how to respect a woman, on the way that when you say no means no and you can get away with it.
Dr. Folletti reveals that Ellie is the 8th person that she's personally known in her practice that has died from domestic violence. Coming up tonight at 10, a close family friend of Ellie shares how the family is coping with this tragic loss. In Covington, I'm Desmond Nugent.
Thank you for that, Desmond. Meanwhile, just this morning, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office took to social media to let parents and guardians know bringing a firearm onto school property is illegal. That announcement following an incident that happened at Bolton High School this week in which a woman was arrested when a gun was found on her person while checking a student into the school. This is now the 4th gun-related arrest made at the high school just this semester. That statement from the Sheriff's Department reading in part, quote, "The safety of students and staff remains our top priority, and we want to reinforce that the presence of weapons in educational settings is not only against the law, but also incredibly dangerous." Now to an issue front and center in the culture war. Earlier this week, the Supreme Court heard more arguments about Tennessee's ban on care for transgender minors, and it's likely to be upheld. Supporters of the ban say that it protects children from making what they call the biggest mistake of their lives. Opponents of the ban, as well as medical experts, say the law is more akin to conversion therapy and will cause more harm to transgender children than good. The Supreme Court's conservative majority seem inclined to leave the decision up to the states. But opposing justices expressed concern that limiting this kind of care could cause harm.
Some children suffer incredibly with gender dysphoria, don't they?
Yes, it's a very serious
They
medical
think
condition.
some attempt suicide.
Yes.
Ruling from the court is not expected until next June. And in Mississippi, the man on trial in the killing of a University of Mississippi student, Jimmy J. Lee, gave conflicting information to police about how well he and Lee knew each other, according to testimony made by an officer leading the investigation yesterday afternoon. Lee disappeared in Oxford back in July of 2022, prompting police to interview Sheldon Timothy Harrington, Jr. 2 weeks later. Lee's body has never been found, but a judge has declared him dead. During one of the interviews, Harrington told police he and Lee had a sexual encounter just hours before Lee disappeared. Harrington maintains his own innocence, and he faces a life sentence if convicted. Joined now by meteorologist Corey Smith for a look at the forecast. Corey, it was a pretty nice day today, huh?
You know, we were in the 50s, but it felt nice after.
It certainly felt nice, especially after what we've been dealing with.
Some
Out in the
cold weather, but the good news is not too cold looking forward. So let's take a look at what you can expect for your Sunday, because some rain pushing into the forecast. We're at 56 degrees, our high today in Memphis, right where we should be this time of year. The average is 55. We are looking at the chance of rain, potentially widespread moving into the area as we head into tomorrow. So we have high pressure in place right now off to the east. That's why we've been warming up. But notice this precipitation down to the south and west. As we head into tomorrow, that cloud cover is going to increase and that rain chance will increase, especially late morning to around midday. We'll be watching for rain across the mid-south as this low moves to the northeast. This is 3 p.m., seeing some pretty widespread rain that lasts through the afternoon and evening. After that, though, we can't rule out some stray showers, especially late Monday night. But then a cold front moves in, clears us out, and we will be a little bit cooler as we head into the middle and end of the week, but nothing like what we saw really over the last couple of days. So take a look at tomorrow morning, what you can expect. We should be dry to start things off, but then the chance of rain does start to increase as we go throughout the day. Taking a look at those rain chances, we're around an 80 to 100% chance of rain really from midday on. So if you're going to be out in the afternoon, have the rain gear with you because it is going to be pretty wet. Hour by hour, what this actually looks like, you're going to see as we head into the overnight, clouds increasing, temperatures not nearly as cold as what we have been recently. And then around 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning, we could see some very isolated showers, especially in North Mississippi, but the more steady rain shows up right around midday. That lasts through the afternoon, and by the evening hours, we're looking at probably the heaviest rain of the day, right around 5 to 8 p.m. as this system pushes through the mid-south. I will say by about midnight, we're starting to wind things down. We should be dry for your Monday morning as you're heading back to work. So how much rain are we expecting right now? Between 1 to 2 inches of rain potentially with this system. A pretty good amount of precipitation moving through the mid-south, but we're not expecting any flooding concerns with this. So tomorrow afternoon, right around midday, 50 degrees, 52 around 2 p.m. with plenty of rain. So we'll be a little bit on the cooler side, but on the wet side as well. So your 7-day forecast going forward, a high of 58 tomorrow. Looking at rain mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, but have the rain gear with you pretty much the entire day. We should dry out, but we can't rule out a late shower on Monday going into early Tuesday morning, but we are dry, 55 degrees for your Tuesday, 47, a little bit cooler on your Wednesday, and we're back into the 50s as we go into the end of the week.
3 Memphis area high school football teams are in Chattanooga playing for state this weekend. And yesterday, we saw Mace clinch the 1A title for the first time in program history. Today, 2 more teams are playing for their own piece of history. And our Rachel Phillips joins us in studio now for all of the latest high school football action. Rachel?
Hey, Kevin. Yeah, Memphis teams are 1-for-1 so far at state, and Melrose looking to make it 2-for-2 as they take on Macon County in the Class 4A state championship. And the community of Orange Mound making the trip for the Golden Wildcats' first appearance in a title game in 19 years as they go for their first state championship since 1998. Melrose led out by first-year co-head coaches and twins Gerald and Jarrett Morrow. And early it looked like Texas A&M signee and Jarrett's son Jamarian Morrow was going to put Melrose on the board first, but they say he fumbles it at the 1-yard line, so no score at the end of the first quarter. But the Tigers get rolling in the second. They put on back-to-back TDs to take a 17-0 lead into the half. But Melrose and their running back, Ryan Brown, come out on steam in the second half. The monstrous run right here, check it. The jump, carry, and then he's going to carry 2 guys into the end zone. Someone get him signed to a D1 school. He grabs another touchdown and 91 rushing yards in the game to give Melrose life in this one. But in the end, the Macon County Tigers were just too good. They beat Melrose 45-14 to end a season many in Orange Mound will remember for a long time. Our Caleb Hilliard was there for all of the action. He reports.
The Golden Wildcats' dream of winning a state title may have ended today, but the future looks bright. Co-head coaches Gerald and Jarrett Morrow took over this team right before the season, and they led Melrose back to its first state title appearance since 2008.
We got these kids in 6 months. We did what we did in 6 months. No off season, barely a spring, and we got them to mix together and make a state championship run, man. I'm so proud of these guys. I know we're so proud of these guys. We have nothing to hold our heads down. We put this thing back on. We put Melrose back on the map again. We've been away from the scene for over 20 years, almost 20 years. And these guys, within 6 months, they brought us to a state championship, man. I'm so proud of these guys and myself. Same thing, man. Don't have nothing. That's what we're telling them. Don't have nothing to hold their head about. Right? We had a goal. We said state championship with us. We made the state championship, and we didn't get the win that we want. And they were able to be the catalyst to help get this thing back. All these people here on our side, all because of these kids' hard work and their belief.
A lot of credit for Melrose's historic season is due to senior Jamarian Morrow, who transferred from Germantown over the offseason.
Man, I was like, man, this team, how far we came. I was like, man, thank this team. Thank Ryan for accepting me on this team. This was his team before I got it. He allowed me to accept me in. And, I'm just grateful to be here, man.
Senior Ryan Brown has played for 4 years at Melrose and has a message for Orange Mound.
Just keep it to God. Without God, this wouldn't be possible. Got us for 6 months, turned the program around. Orange Mound will be back. But our future is bright, man. We have a lot of guys coming back. We're losing some of our seniors, but we got the right mentality. Our thing was to change the kids' mentalities. Their mentalities have changed. They play together now. They play for one another. They're a big family. We built one big family, and this thing is going to keep going. I promise you.
Regardless of what happens next year, the last 6 months will be forever seen as a special season by the players, the coaches, and the community of Orange Mound. In Chattanooga, I'm Caleb Hilliard.
Member for Melrose. Later today, the last of the 3 Memphis schools will have their shot at state. Houston, in search of back-to-back state titles, will go head-to-head with Oakland in a rematch of the 2023 championship game. We'll have all the action from that one tonight at 10. But Kevin, for now, back to you.
All right. Certainly staying tuned for all of that. Meanwhile, over at the Teaching and Learning Academy in Midtown, MSCS partnered with the Shelby County Health Department and ShotRx to offer free vaccines for students heading into the winter months. Many of the vaccinations offered today were mandatory for students before returning to class. Those include vaccinations for polio, MMR, measles, mumps, and more. Dr. Ted Lyons, the director of ShotRx, said every type of childhood vaccination is offered.
Every single state has about the same vaccination requirements for school-aged children, and that's to keep the children safe as well as the public safe. If you get your vaccinations earlier in life, it keeps you safe, you make more antibodies, all those wonderful things to where you'll have a more productive life and a healthier life.
If you or someone you know is in need of a vaccination, good news. You got the same event happening again next week. Same location, December 14th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Here at ABC24, we're committed to helping you seek solutions. So if you have a concern you want us to look into, text the word solutions, that's with an S, and a summary of your story to 901-321-7520. That's solutions and your concern to 901-321-7520. Well, earlier this week, a major investment in the city of Memphis from 3 Fortune 500 companies that could create thousands of new jobs, all associated with the recently announced expansion of xAI's Colossus supercomputer facility. Those 3 companies are NVIDIA, Dell, and Supermicro Computers. And the expansion is already underway. Along with the investments from those big names in the tech world, xAI will also increase the number of graphic processing units from 100,000, which costs $6 billion over the summer, to at least 1 million GPUs.
When you talk about billions and billions of dollars being invested here locally, that has a direct, an indirect, and an induced impact on jobs and attracting further investment.
As of now, there's no word on when the 3 companies will break ground here in Memphis. But before we leave, check this out. The 2024 St. Jude Memphis Marathon brought over $50 million of economic activity to the Bluff City. And for the race, over 22,000 runners from around the world raised over $16 million for St. Jude's life-saving medical care. Officials at the marathon say it represents all that is good in Memphis and the people who live here. Our visual storyteller, Devin Wood, has more.
If you've ever been to a St. Jude Marathon, you see the love of the city on full display.
St. Jude is the epicenter for research for curing cancer all across the world. Right here in Memphis, just a few blocks away. And it's an amazing sight to see so many people come out and support that cause and support our amazing city.
So I urge everybody to give as much as possible so that we can have cancer-free children without any problems in our future.
This is a Memphis institution, you know. When you run or walk through that campus down there, all those kids lining the street, it's a feeling like none other, you know. I mean, that's the reason we do it is for those kids.
If you want to hoot, you want to holler.
So all this year, I've been fighting breast cancer, and I just rung the bell on October the 30th. So I'm really excited to continue even that fight for the children. It's my daughter, my mom.
I was a patient at St. Jude. I got sick the first time when I was 14. It has been a second home. It is where I grew up, and it is a place that I think I will be grateful and indebted to for the rest of my life.
That's all we have for you here on this special digital edition of ABC 24 News. Make sure you stay up late after all the football is over, because we'll be right here for your late news after the game. Take care.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 24 Plus app everywhere you stream.